Ladies and gentlemen, it is 2025, and the biggest Big Ten game of the weekend is Oregon USC. If I went back 5-10 years and tried to explain that to my past self, my brain might explode. It is crazy, but I'll tell you what, 3:30 tomorrow, at least Eastern time for me, it's going to be a great game. And the Oregon Ducks also just got a double dose of good news heading into that game. Let's talk about it. My name is Aaron with my buddy Paul. We are the Big Ten guys on the daily, talking Big Ten news, rumors, analysis, whatever the heck it is, Big Ten. We're going to talk about it right here. So all you got to do, hit that subscribe button, notification bell, boom, and hit the like button. The Oregon Ducks, after their one loss to Indiana, are on a rampage and looking to prove college football wrong, go through, dominate the playoffs, and hoist that national championship trophy. Now, what we got to talk about, though, is the USC Trojans in this game in particular tomorrow, November 22nd. So when we jump into this game, one good piece of news before we jump into what I would tell you is the even better news is this. There's a lot of sentiment around, hey, Oregon is favored. Oregon is the better team. You look at the metrics, you look who they've played, all these different aspects, and everyone is saying, and I know it's not just everyone, but a lot of people leaning heavily towards Oregon. Even though USC has Maava, even though they have Lemon, Oregon, we know, has a ton of weapons, especially in the air and even on the ground as well. But specifically, we look at this. One of the first pieces of good news that I think is huge, and I know for me, I like seeing stuff like this, but ESPN's Football Power Index gives Oregon a 71.9% chance. Listen, guys, C's get degrees. That is technically it's D's get degrees. But regardless, that is a good chance. You throw it into the computers, all these crazy analytic number, whatever, and they say Oregon's going to win. I think that's good. That's promising going into that game, especially at home in Eugene. And again, everyone's going to be watching. So I think that's one piece of good news. The other, and I would tell you more important good news, is what we look at the injury report. Now, Decorian Moore, not ideal that he is doubtful for this game. But it is trending, I would say, likely that you look at Gary Bryant Jr., at one point in the season had the second most receiving yards on the team, is trending towards potentially coming back. Now, they have not talked about him this week. That would lead me to believe they don't want to. You're playing poker. You don't want to show your hand to the other team. You don't want to show your hand to Lincoln Riley and USC and give a hint of, yeah, this guy's playing. You know what? I think that's one part of the you look at the injury report that is tough when it comes to, any sport, is trying to figure out, okay, who are we going to, how are we going to plan? Who are we going to plan for? So not only Gary Bryant Jr. that has the potential to be back for this big time game at Oregon, but as well Evan Stewart, who everyone has been waiting his glorious return to the field, and that potentially could be this game. Now, again, Moore being out, or most likely out, not ideal. Evan Stewart being able to come back after the patellar tendon tear would be huge, especially being the leading wide receiver last year for this Oregon Duck team that was dominant, coming in and playing a big time game and going out there in him specifically performing, dominating, and helping this team beat a solid USC team would be huge. But we look at those two guys, and again, it is very possible that they didn't want to bring back those guys as well during the Minnesota game, because let's be real, if there's any Minnesota fans watching, I'm sorry, but Minnesota fans, Minnesota's not much to write home about. Granted, I'm a Michigan State fan. They absolutely walloped Michigan State, and so I know I don't have anything to stand on when it comes to saying that. But when it comes to the likes of comparing Oregon and Minnesota, you're not in your head. You get it. And so understand, you rest, you get more rest going into this game. I think that's important. I think that's huge. And I think that was a smart move if that's what they did. But again, if they're trending towards playing, huge. Ladies and gentlemen, when anyone bets on sports, there's one thing they want to do, and it's simple. They want to catch that W. They want to win. They want to take home the cold, hard cash. It's simple. And what if I told you there was an easier, smarter way to do it? Well, that is why my buddy and I teamed up with BetQL. BetQL helps you bet smarter by showing which bets have the best odds, hottest trends, and community-backed insights, all updated in real time. Those real-time updates can be across anything, including Big Ten games. And on top of that, what's really nice is it's easy to use. Just check the app before placing a bet to see where the smart money is going. It's not hard at all. So all you have to do to get in on this and not guess anymore on picks and do it the smarter way with BetQL is mention code GETBET5 for 15% off any purchase. Again, GetBet5 for 15% off. Download BetQL today and start betting smarter. Moore has more targets. That sounded cool. As well, obviously, future first rounder Sadiq, he's out there. You look at the stats as well. Benson, he's been doing well. So it's not like they're in desperate need. But again, it would just be a massive boost for this team moving forward against the Trojans tomorrow night. Not tomorrow night. Technically for you guys, that's 12:30 Western time. So it's not like it's anything crazy. But then we specifically, I want to look at USC super quick, because I think a lot of people, there's a lot of people who, when they look at USC, their losses are again a close game against Illinois, and then they lost a technically double digit loss to Notre Dame, which was in South Bend. So that's a hard place to go in and win. But again, they do have some. I would tell you a win at Nebraska and Memorial solid. A win against Iowa, I do think solid. A lot. You try to explain that to an SEC person, and they're like, whatever. But you see that they can put up points. And so I think one of the biggest things is, and I would definitely lean towards Oregon when it comes to the defensive side of the ball in this game. A lot of people have said, you got to watch out for their offense. Yes, that's right. But defensively, I don't think they're anything to write home about compared to Oregon or other defenses in the Big Ten or in the country. And so again, if Oregon can do what we know they can do and put up points, put them up fast, and literally leave USC in the dust, I truly think this can be just incredibly difficult for the Trojans. So comment below. Tell me what you think going into this game. I'm going to tell you this. I think score-wise, I look at this game and I have Oregon 42. I know that's super random. And then I'm going to go USC 24. That's my thought. I think it's going to be close in the first half. I think that Maeva pops off and does well, and I think it's looking close for a while. And then I think Oregon does what Oregon does best, and I think they pull away and they leave no doubt. And then they go on and beat Washington, and then they make it into the playoffs without having to play in the Big Ten championship game. And then they go on a run. I think it's very possible with this team with a ton of weapons, both solid offensively and defensively. So that's my thought. So final score, I got Oregon Ducks 42, USC Trojans 24. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've been thinking about it for a while, but that's the score I land on. That's what I land on. So comment below. Tell me what you think. What's your score predictions for the game? Would love to hear from you. Comment below. Hit the like button. Helps us out a lot. Hit the subscribe button. We'll talk later. Peace.